Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Let Me Know podcast. This week is going to be a little bit different because, as you can tell, I am alone today. Caroline is not here physically, but she has been replaced by a lookalike, if you will. So, everybody, welcome to the podcast, Kwansport. Hello, Kwansport. How are you doing this evening? This episode is going to be just me. So today we are going to be talking about space. We are going to be talking about Coachella drama, the Influencer Olympics. We're going to be talking about this giant zit on my face, which is so buried deep under there. I think we have like 7 to 10 business days until it comes out, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll wait until June. But I have to complain about something. I ordered Shake Shack. I got paid. Whenever I get paid, I usually will buy just like whatever I want. I don't know. Sometimes I'll just get like a very overpriced meal that is definitely not worth what it costs. But fuck it. I just got paid. So I got Shake Shack. Shake Shack's not really overpriced, but it's like not, I don't know. I wanted a milkshake. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wanted a milkshake. And so a burger was kind of an afterthought, said fuck it. Ordered it on Uber Eats because I'm still banned on DoorDash. Cannot solve that issue, no matter how hard I try. So DoorDash, if you're watching this, please, I beg of you. Ordered it on Uber Eats, showed up to my house, and I'll insert a picture here for the YouTube watchers, audio listeners. I will describe it in frustrated detail. When you order a shake, it's in the name. Am I crazy? You know, it's not called a chocolate and vanilla ice cream in a cup and then we just hope for the best. If that's what it was called, then I would expect that maybe there would be some discrepancies on how the final outcome would be. But it's not called that. It's called a shake. It's in the name. The directions are in the name. And I know that it's more of a stirring or a blending. You don't actually shake it. But I think that the final product, it's self-explanatory that it is mixed in some fashion. And that is not what I got. I got a singular scoop of chocolate ice cream and a singular scoop of vanilla ice cream. In a cup. Unstirred, unshaken, unmoisturized. And I just wanted to complain about it because I know that the people that are working at Shake Shack are definitely not getting paid enough money. I get that. I'm still going to complain about it. I'm still pissed because I was looking forward to a milkshake to start my day. So here we are. Unmilkshaked up. No boys in this yard, if you will. That's a different podcast. They got perfectly shaken milkshakes over there probably. I don't fucking know. What else did I do this week? I went to North Carolina, which is exciting. I didn't really do a whole lot. I wish I had more to tell you, but I kind of just hung out, vegged out on the couch. It was fun though. I rediscovered cheese balls. So you guys know those giant containers that you would get. Here's the thing. I don't know if anybody buys cheese balls. They just are bought. It's kind of like salt, you know, like you don't buy salt. You just have it. There's just like a big container of salt in the house and it was there when you moved in and it will stay there when you leave. So it's the same thing with those big tubs of cheese balls. It's like they were always on top of a cabinet in your like elementary school class, or like you go into, I always think of a corporate office. You go into a corporate office and there's just like a tub of cheese balls on the top of the fridge and nobody really eats them except every once in a while, but they're there. We bought some because we were thinking about them and I couldn't remember if they were good or bad. So we bought them. Turns out they're actually pretty good. I don't know if they've like changed up the recipe or what, but they're not bad. And here's the beautiful thing about them. You can eat about 300 of them and I don't even know if you get any calories. It's just air. It's just puffed up cheese air. Fantastic for tossing up and catching in your mouth. So I rediscovered those. I also rediscovered brushing my hair, which I know is a crazy concept, but I don't wash my hair more than like once or twice a week. keep those good oils all up in there. And I always have this issue on day 3 or 4 where my hair just looks, it's like I just went surfing and I just climbed out of the ocean, but like in the bad way. Like there's the Pamela Anderson way, but then there's like my way, which is like my boobs are much smaller and my hair looks much greasier. I don't know what happens. It's like all of my hair separates and then it gets greased up and then it's just hanging for dear life from my scalp. And so I got this boar bristle brush. I went down a bunch of Reddit threads to try to figure out what the best hairbrush was because I do have hair and I wanted to treat it nicely because I've been using a wide tooth comb and it feels like it's ripping my hair out. So I bought this like $50 hairbrush because some Reddit thread was like, this is the best thing. They've been making them the same since like the 1800s. We've made boars practically extinct making these hairbrushes. So I bought one. And it's pretty good. But the best part is it like fluffs my hair up. So I've been getting all kinds of compliments on my hair. Don't go to YouTube. My hair's up in a bun right now. And it's just because I've been brushing it. I don't know. Crazy concept. I just wanted to bring that to the table here to let Kwansport know. There is a secret. Kwansport has no hair. Caroline has beautiful, luscious hair. I'd never say it to her face. But Kwansport, bald, squeaks the fuck up, some may say. So, came home on a plane, kind of like Katy Perry in that way. Lasted longer than Katy Perry in that way. Airplanes are weird because you have this kind of like weird, intimate experience with the person that's sitting next to you. Like you're sitting closer to them than you would ever sit near somebody else just out in the wild. And you have to sit next to them for like extended amounts of hours. And so it's kind of this weird, it's this weird intimacy of like each person you sit next to, you have different boundaries with. It's like, can our legs touch a little bit? Can I sit crisscross applesauce and make you uncomfortable? Are you chill with that? Can I take my shoes off? Does this person next to me seem like a shoes off kind of person? Like if I take my Birkenstocks off, I got socks on, I'm not a weirdo. Can I go crisscross applesauce with the dogs out? I don't know. Do you get the armrest or do I get the armrest? I don't know. Who knows? I feel like armrests for airplanes are similar to like urinals in bathrooms. Now, I wouldn't know because I've never used a urinal, but I know there's a culture. I know there's a urinal culture. You go in, if there's a guy on that one or that one, you go to this one. If there's a guy on this one and this one and this one, you go to this one. If there's nobody, you go to this one. There's even like a test you can take online just to see if you know the etiquette. It's kind of like that when you sit on a plane. Like there's an armrest on each side of each person. However, that armrest is also the other person's. So does each person rest their dominant arm on the armrest, or is it the person with the bigger arms gets it? This person looks maybe more tired. Maybe if you're the person in the middle seat, because that's, I think, unobjectively the worst seat, do you get both? My answer is no, because I want one, and I'm always a window seater. But you kind of feel it out. You know, if there's like a big guy in the seat next to you, he's got big arms, he's got to rest those puppies. Gotta rest those puppies on the armrest. I don't get to because I usually cede that to the person to my left. I get the window. I get to rest my head against the window. I get to see the views. If the plane's going down, I may be the first to know. So I will cede that to the middle person. I think that's just polite. But I flew home, 5-hour flight, played the Outer Wilds DLC, which means nothing to a lot of you, but may mean a lot to some of you. It's very good. And the girl next to me, we didn't talk the whole time. In fact, here's the thing. I didn't even know what she looked like. I'm not great at eye contact, even with the people that I know. But when you get on a plane, I don't know when the opportune moment is to look them directly in the eye and establish dominance. I don't. So I get on the plane or they get on the plane, whichever's first. And I just look straight forward. Maybe give them like a, hey, probably not though. You just look straight forward and you shift and you let them shift in, you know? and I never go eye contact. So what usually happens is I'll spend the next, however long the plane ride is, using my peripherals to try to figure out who this person is. Okay. I don't know. I can see vague outlines. So for example, the girl next to me, she had blonde hair. She was wearing kind of Pacific Northwestern granola outfit, it appeared. I didn't know if she was old or young. I didn't want to look. It would be weird. I turned my head to look. She's got headphones in. She turns her head. She goes, "What?" I go, "What?" She goes, "Did you say something?" And I go, "No." And then now we're at a situation where, like, what if I do need to say something? She's going to think that I'm just looking at her again. So anyways, we sat quietly on the plane for about 5 hours. And then I did the most useless thing possible as the plane was landing. It was coming down, landing in Los Angeles. She was looking out the window and she seemed really interested. Like she was, looking out, taking pictures. And I was like, I don't think she's from here. People that live here, they know that's shitty. That's city's shitty looking from up here. Like, you don't take pictures of LA if you're landing in LA if you live here. I don't know. But she was looking, she was like taking pictures. And so I said, like the plane's coming down. And I'm like, "Are you from here or are you visiting?" Like what I waited until and she, like, we landed. She was German. She didn't speak any English at all. So at the end of the day, probably fine. But I don't know why, like that, it was like my last moment. Like maybe I thought like the plane was going to go down. And like, if anything, I know who this person is that I've spent the last 5 mildly uncomfortable, intimate hours with. I need to know. Who is she? What's her story? Doesn't matter because she didn't speak English. So got home, ordered Shake Shack. Disappointment. Whatever. It's okay. I'll be fine. Thanks for asking. Another thing about me, TikTok is making me want to go back into my Grey's Anatomy phase. Just thought I'd throw that out there if anybody else is experiencing that. TikTok does this thing for me where it asserts what I'm going to be obsessed with for the next period of time. Very influential. Okay. I succumb to the influence of the internet often. There's a reason why I bought that weird TikTok gum. Every once in a while I'll see something on the TikTok shop and I'll go, sure, what the hell, why not? TikTok has decided that I'm going to watch Grey's Anatomy again. So I shall. I think I will. I'm going to dive back into that. Also, while I was in North Carolina, I watched a movie that was really good and I want to tell you guys about it. And I'm going to tell you up front what it's about. And I don't want you to tune out because I want you to know that I don't give a shit about stocks or anything of that matter. It's boring to me. I sucked at math. This is just math with money. Okay? It's boring to me. So if you're someone like that, don't tune out because I'm going to explain this to you in a way that seemed interesting to me. So I watched this movie called Dumb Money. This is about the GameStop squeeze of 2021. I know, you're probably already bored. Lock the fuck back in. Come back to me. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm a live streamer and a lot of this has to do with a guy who's a live streamer. His name's Roaring Kitty. I was like, what the heck? All of a sudden I'm locked in. I'm related. This guy, he wears a t-shirt with a cat on it. He wears a red bandana around his head like Ninja did back in the day. And he's sitting there drinking a brewski and he's talking about stocks. And so this guy, his name's Roaring Kitty, live streamer on YouTube. He is a former financial analyst who, he basically was, this is about 2019, and he was looking at GameStop as a stock, and he believed that the company was a little bit undervalued. Okay. He thought that the stocks were not as high as they should be. Now, if you're somebody like me, you're a gamer, we have good memories associated with GameStop. You wait in line for that game, midnight release, which means 9 p.m. Pacific time, if you were like me. Some of the best memories. Camping outside, waiting for the game to come out. You go get your copy, you go home, you read the pamphlet on the way home while you're driving, because why not? It was awesome. So GameStop holds a good memory in a lot of our hearts. But as most of us have probably noticed, online gaming, buying games online is a little bit more prevalent. So GameStop really kind of taking a hit here. And so he's looking at GameStop and he's going, I think that this shit's a little bit undervalued. I'm going to dump a bunch of money into it, a bunch of stocks. Okay. He's just doing the thing, doing the stock guy thing. So he starts doing that. He starts live streaming himself talking about it. He starts posting on Reddit, Wall Street Bets, kind of just being like, hey guys, kind of feel like this might be a good idea. I don't know. I did it. I dumped a bunch of money into it. You let me know. Let's watch it. And people, they really liked the way that he talked about stocks. They thought he was smart. He wore a cool headband. He's got a cool Roaring Kitty username. And they go, yeah, let's listen to what this guy is saying. So people start doing that too. He's an influencer in a way, you know? And they start putting their money into GameStop. So let's talk about hedge funds. I know you're bored. Don't lock back in. This is going to get interesting. This is drama. The reason I'm talking about this is because I'm going to talk about a bunch of influencer drama. And this feels like the closest, most grown-up version of drama. All right? It gets spicy. So I'm going to talk about what hedge funds are. Now, I'm going to be so transparent with you guys. I Googled most of this like yesterday. So I'm explaining it to you in a way that I would understand. Hedge funds. So the whole point of them is a bunch of rich people putting their money into stocks in a little bit more of a risky way, kind of like high risk, high reward, moving money around. It's basically just big money, risky business, rich people trading their money. They assumed that GameStop was dying, and it's maybe because they were old, rich, white people. I don't know. Maybe they didn't play Call of Duty. They had never heard of it. They were like, yeah, the money's low. The stocks are low. It must suck. Kids hate video games now. Kids don't, they're all playing Minecraft. We don't even know what that is. Nobody plays Atari anymore. GameStop, more like GameStop, just buying stocks to that one because that shit sucks. So what they do is they borrow stocks, and then they wait until those stocks drop further, and then they, buy low, sell high kind of deal. This is not like the way that you and I would do it. It's not like, hey, I'm putting money into this stock because I have the money and then I'm going to sell it. It's a little different. They're borrowing money. They're moving money around. I don't know, rich people shit. We'll talk more about that later. So they've got a bunch of stocks in GameStop hoping it's going to go down so that they can buy more, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Meanwhile, all of these normies and retail investors, people like you and me with a couple bucks, are throwing money into GameStop because Roaring Kitty is like, hey, this looks smart. Let's do this. So early January 2021. Early January 2021. The stocks of GameStop went from about $17 up to like $480, I think is what they are at their peak. Okay. Spiked really high because all of these internet people on Reddit, Redditors, YouTubers, whatever, decided to dump their money into GameStop. So it's spiking. And the hedge funds start freaking out because they have all of these borrowed stocks in GameStop, assuming that this shit's on its deathbed. And it starts going up. So all of a sudden, they're like, shit. And they start buying these stocks back before they spike too high. And they are just shit out of luck. And because they're also buying these stocks back, the stocks go up even higher. So you've got regular people, you've got hedge fund people. Everybody's buying these GameStop stocks for different reasons. And it's just going to the moon. Imagine like a tube of toothpaste. You're squeezing it. That's why it's called a short squeeze. Okay. Things get really tense and they skyrocket. This is something that happens. I don't know if it happens frequently, but it's a thing. This was just a big one. And the biggest contributor to it was the fact that people were utilizing the internet, like Reddit, and they were talking to each other more than they ever had before. Usually people go to a professional, they say, hey, what do I put my stocks in? Whatever. But the amount of communication happening amongst people, normies, was a lot. Again, I'm going to reiterate, Googled most of this earlier. If I got anything wrong, don't come for me. I don't even care about this shit. It's just drama. So back to Roaring Kitty. He sees that this is happening and he's like, whoa, this is putting rich people in hot water. That's kind of fun. We like eat the rich, right? I'm hungry. And so he's telling everybody to hold. Don't sell your stocks. Buy more stocks. Hold, hold, hold. We're going to put these fuckers in hot water. Diamond hands. Diamond hands means hold. Don't sell. And people are nervous because they put a little bit of money in and now they got a lot of money. Maybe they can pay for their college. Maybe they can pay for their kids' college. Maybe they can buy a house. But the principle is to hold, to show these fuckers in Wall Street that we can take back the power. We can make you sweat a little bit. So then things start to get messy, okay? Because the people in the big chairs are sweating. So Robinhood, which is an app that people use to trade stocks, okay? They didn't have enough cash to cover the amounts of trading that was happening. Things were just getting too crazy, too quick, and they were being demanded a lot of money up front. And so Robinhood, what they did is they shut down the buying of GameStop on their app. So you could sell it, but you couldn't buy anymore. And their reasoning was that things were just getting too crazy and they didn't have the money to pay out all of these people. And they cut it off so that they could, make sure that everything was going safe. We just wanted to make sure everything's cool. We just want to make sure everything's chill. We're cutting it off. Just make sure that we have enough money to move around. So simultaneously, here's the drama. Reddit, r/Wall Street Bets, also shut down at this same time. Their Discord went down at the same time. So all of these people that have potentially millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the GameStop, they're just in darkness. They can't hear what Roaring Kitty's telling them to do. They can't read anything. They don't know what their peers are saying. And they're just sitting here looking at their money in Robinhood. They can't buy anymore, but they can sell it. And so people start freaking out and they start panicking. And so they start selling their stocks. They say, shit, I don't know what's going on. I'm afraid something's going to happen. I'm going to cash out now. I'm going to cash out now, get out. I'm going to go spend all my money on Coachella. I don't know what they did. We'll talk about that later though. So they start freaking out. They start selling their stuff. GameStop stocks dropped like 50%. Just tanked. Absolutely tanked. People are freaking out. AOC's calling Robinhood a fuckface. Ted Cruz is agreeing with AOC, which makes all of this even weirder. Zodiac Killer still is nowhere to be seen. People thought the system was rigged because as soon as the hedge funds were feeling the heat, everything got locked down and the investors were the ones that got punished. So they were like, what the heck? We make good decisions. GameStop goes up. We make money. But because you're losing money, everything gets shut down. That's fucked. I don't like that. So Congress is like, all right, we got to have a meeting. We got to have a big boy meeting because this is wacky. We got to figure out what's going on. They serve notices for Roaring Kitty. His name's Keith Gill, by the way. I don't know if I said that. The CEO of Robinhood, one of the big hedge fund dudes from Melvin Capital, and a Citadel executive. That stuff is important, but not important for me telling you this story. If you want to look into it, you can. Otherwise, 3 big rich dudes and Roaring Kitty. So the Congress was grilling Roaring Kitty because he had a background in financial advising. They thought that what he had done is bought a bunch of GameStop stocks and then convinced everybody to buy them in order for his own personal gain. They were like, this guy put a bunch of money in, told all these people with his cool headband and his cool kitty posters, and his name's Roaring Kitty, and he's so cool, and he told everybody to buy stocks, and then he just wanted to make a bunch of money. So apparently you can't do that. I don't know. But he gave this speech, and he was like, I'm just a guy and I like the stocks. And he basically said, I just know how this shit works. And I was telling other people what their best interest would be. And hedge funds felt the heat, and we gotta fix this. We gotta fix this system. He said, I like stock. I love lamp. I like stock. So what are the consequences of this? Melvin Capital ended up shutting down in 2022 after repeated losses. Not really relevant, but it's, Robin Hood was fined, but not for the GameStop related stuff. Everybody got off mostly free. To be honest with you, like most people walked out of this fine. Except the little guys. People lost a bunch of money. They won a bunch of money, and then they lost a bunch of money. And not only did they lose money, but they lost the respect for the system, which we didn't have a whole lot of before. So they were like, okay, we gotta make the rules clearer here, because if we win, we lose. But if you win, you keep winning. So we got to figure out what's going on. Nobody went to jail over this. That is the final conclusion that blows my mind. Nobody went to jail over this. Roaring Kitty, he got about $30 to $50 million, which is good. I'm not saying he should go to jail. Good. He got in. He did the stocks right. He played the game. He got out. Nobody's heard from him. I guess he came back in 2024 to try to do like a similar thing, which got him in a little bit of heat. But for the most part, he kind of just fucked offline. Which like I didn't know about any of that, but it's mostly because I don't know about stock stuff. And it's drama. It's drama. So it interested me, and maybe it interested you. I don't know. But speaking of rich people, let's talk about Katy Perry, because she went to space, and I'm sure you've heard about it. April 14th, Blue Origin's New Shepard NS-31 mission sent the first all-female crewed space flight since 1963, which is cool. I love when women do things big. I want to just clarify through this whole thing, go women. However, I got some beef, all right? So they went up, lasted longer than most of your ex-boyfriends. They were up there for 11 minutes. And then they came back down to Earth. Katy Perry announced her set list, and sang "What a Wonderful World." I don't know, whatever. So, and then they landed. They were in West Texas. They had Jeff Bezos go up, and here's the thing. And if you watch the video, maybe we can insert the video. Jeff Bezos ate absolute shit. He was trying to walk around the spaceship to let the ladies out, and he just absolutely ate shit. It was awesome. And he didn't even have to open the door, apparently. They just were like, Jeff, get up there. Jeff, go open the door. Go cut the ribbon. Just do it. You're bald. It'll make everybody, lighting will be good. His girlfriend was on the flight. Also, the crew included Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, who is a journalist and pilot, and also Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, Gale King, who is the host of CBS, Aisha Bo, former NASA rocket scientist, Amanda Wen, who is very educated in NASA and things. We'll talk about her in a bit. And then Carrie Ann Flynn, who is a filmmaker. I believe that. Hopefully that's everybody. If I miss somebody, let me know. Okay, let's talk about this. I like when women do cool stuff. I do. I love it. I love when women do anything at all. Women's rights, women's wrongs. Just give me all of it. But the problem that I have, okay, is that when we have rich people do things just because, what the heck, why not? It feels weird. And Katy Perry doesn't feel like somebody who represents feminism very well. She wrote Women's World, which taught me sexy, confident, so intelligent. Sometimes I sing that to Oki when she looks sad. Katy Perry's feminism to me feels like Pride Month at Target, you know? It's like, let's make this as marketable as possible without actually delving into the issues. Now, I don't know very much about Katy Perry, okay? I do know that she worked with Dr. Luke on a song, maybe multiple songs, that were supposed to be women empowerment songs. When there's a fly that is flying around, I don't know if you've seen this. There's a fly that is flying around the cameras. Do you want your 15 minutes? Do you want your 15 minutes? Because I'm pretty sure your lifespan is about 30. I don't know what the average going lifespan of flies is nowadays, but it's about to be really, really short. This is a threat. This is a threat. Anyways, yeah, Katy Perry, like, she worked with Dr. Luke, who has been he was in the news a while ago. Kesha came out and there was some allegations against him, sexual assault allegations, many other not so great things. He's not a good guy. We don't like him. We don't stan him. And she worked with him on this song that's supposed to be about women empowerment, which was so crazy. And when she was asked about it, she was kind of like, this song is for me. I'm doing it for me. But he helped. But it's for me. And I did this. And I had a baby. And I'm Katy Perry. And sexy, confident. So intelligent. And that was weird. So Wendy's like tweeted about Katy Perry going up to space and said, like, I hope she stays there. Which is spicy. But then we got a picture of Kesha drinking a Wendy's cup like immediately after, which is tea. I don't know. It was probably a Frosty. Those are delicious. Dip your fries in them. Anyways, Katy Perry, she gets off of this ship. She holds a daisy up to the sky, which her daughter's name is Daisy. And then she kisses the dirt. I'm sorry. I went on a 5-hour plane ride. Like, I'm pretty sure that if anybody should be kissing the dirt, thankful to have landed safely, it's me. Have you seen planes in the news? It's crazy town. She also held up a butterfly piece of paper, which had her set list for her upcoming tour, which is so funny because she holds it up to the camera. You can't read shit. And then she lets it float back behind her. It was like, I don't know. That could be anything. She had an interview afterwards where she said, quote, and I'm going to quote this so that I don't fuck it up. She said, they asked her how she feels. Katy Perry, how do you feel after that 11 minutes? And she said, I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has given me, you never know how much love is inside you, like how much love you have to give and how loved you are until the day you launch, which is so odd because I mean, I guess maybe we just all need to go up into spaceships to recognize what love is. We don't truly know until we spend millions, hundreds of thousands. I don't know. I don't even know what the rate of going up into a spaceship is. I know how much eggs cost. That is my primary focus right now. I don't know. It was just weird because it was kind of like, why is that what it takes? That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. And so she said that. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing is weird to me. It just, like, I don't feel empowered by this. I do feel empowered by a couple of ladies on the spaceship. I'm talking about one, Amanda Wen. She went to Harvard to pursue a career at NASA or the CIA. She studied astrophysics. She worked at NASA's last space shuttle mission and helped the agency develop its Kepler exoplanet hunting space telescope. I had to write that down because I don't know what any of that means. In 2013, during her senior year, though, trigger warning SA, she was raped at a frat party, which is horrifying. She ended up going to the hospital. And while she was dealing with the aftermath, she uncovered a serious lapse in the justice system, which I think is, very widely known that the law does not protect sexual assault survivors. You hear it time and time again. And she realized that when survivors are trying to press charges, it is not very helpful. And so she kind of had a decision. She had a decision. Would she continue to try to chase her dreams of working for NASA, or put it on pause so that she could try to fix this crack in the judicial system? And she decided to do the latter. So she pursued the passing of the Sexual Assault Survivors Bill of Rights Act, which entitles survivors to free medical exams. It mandates that forensic evidence be kept for at least the statute of limitations on rape and provides option for extending that timeline, which is incredible. I am a true crime consumer. And if I had $1 for every time a case goes cold because they threw out the evidence, I'd have many, many dollars. It is a horrific thing to have sexual assault survivors go through the traumatic process of collecting evidence. Not only choosing to go to the hospital, but choosing to do a rape kit, and it is incredibly intrusive on your body. And then after all of that, having the evidence disappear or get damaged or whatever. Especially there's so many cases because DNA is like a new thing. It's kind of crazy. DNA evidence is kind of new. I think like the late 80s, 90s is when we were able to gather DNA in forms that wasn't just like blood or semen, you know, like other forms of DNA. So anyways, she made sure that the evidence is kept for the statute of limitations, or extended if need be. She was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019. And then after all of that, she was able to return to her personal dream, which was going to space. And so she went up, she came down, she had her banned from the time that she was in the hospital in 2013. And, you know, lots of really nice words saying, you know, you can go through horrific things and still chase your dreams. Don't let your dreams stay dreams. And that was I was really happy to hear about her. I don't really feel any type of way about Katy Perry, whatever. But I'm really proud of Amanda. There are some other women on the spaceship that were very impressive. So yeah, I'm proud of them. Go girlies. Go girlies. Overall, go girlies. Gale King, who was on the ship, responded to the criticism of the Blue Origin space trip. So Gale King responds to the criticism of the Blue Origin spaceship trip, and she says, have y'all ever been to space? Go to space, go to Blue Origin, see what they're doing, then come back and say this is a terrible thing. Girl, we can't. We're too broke. Don't just say it feels like you don't like this country, then get out. It's like, you know what? If I could go in a spaceship to see if that shit's worth it and spiritually changing, I still wouldn't, because I'm terrified of space personally. It's a fear of mine. I've talked about this before. Like the concept of the fact that we're just like floating in space, not attached to anything. Anything could happen at any given moment. Like, do I believe that Jonathan from NASA knows enough about space to know that there couldn't be like a second sun nebula that blows us up that nobody's ever heard of before? No. Like anything could happen at any point. It could happen right now. You may never hear this episode because we get a second sun explosion. I don't know. We're going to talk about rich people more. I love influencers. Okay? I do. I love them. I want you to hear me out though. I loved the concept of influencers. As somebody that lives in LA and has spent time with lots of internet people, I do not want to be friends with influencers. Trust me, I don't. I kind of am one. So I don't want to be friends with influencers. You don't want to be friends with influencers. But I love them. I love them. I love the things they do. I love the things they wear. I love the things they say, unless they're bad. I love the way they dress. I love the little parties they go to that are all branded. Like, I love watching all of that. I do. I love it. I eat it up. And not in a way of like, I want to be that. I just love the culture of you have monetized being cool. And that's so interesting to me. From a logistic standpoint, it's so interesting. And we had one of the best influencer events of the year. Some call it the Influencer Olympics. Some call it Coachella. So let's get into the drama. First of all, seems like entering the campsite was an entire disaster. Now, we can go down the rabbit hole and we can talk about prices, but I think that most of you, if you know of Coachella, you know it's expensive. There's a lot of different ways you can attend Coachella. I think most of you know this, but the influencers that you see go to Coachella, a lot of them pay to be there. A lot of them are getting paid to be there. They go attached to a specific brand. That brand says, we're going to send you to Coachella. We're going to get you a place to stay. We're going to pay for your food. But you have to make this many posts a day. You have to wear this day 1. You have to wear this day 2. You have to attend this party day 2. You have to post this time, and everything you post, hashtag, 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 hashtag. And so a lot of people will say yes because they want to go to Coachella for free. Of course. Yeah. What the fuck? Why not? Like if a specific brand asked me and I liked the brand, fuck it. Why not? Put me in like one of those cool campers. I don't know. I want to see Lady Gaga. Of course I do. And so there's a lot of influencers that do that. So if you don't know that, I just want you to know that. So that way, when you see these influencers being really cool and hot, they're not necessarily doing it the same way that you would, because what you're going to do probably is you're going to pay for a campsite and have to wait for 12 hours to get into it. So there was a bunch of TikTok videos of people who showed up at like 3 a.m. to try to get into the campsites. And these are like tent campsites or just sleep in your car campsites. I think the issue here is that every year Coachella says, hey, you know, we're going to let you in at 6 a.m. We're going to let you in at 7 a.m. We're going to let you in at whatever. This year, they didn't let people in until 9 a.m. And they had like some different systems. So in the past, it was first come, first serve. So that's why people were showing up at 3 a.m. This year, people could pay for preferred parking. And so checking people into that preferred parking took a couple extra minutes, which added up. And next thing you know, people are waiting in their cars, no gas, no bathroom, no food, no water. Apparently there was like staff bathrooms that they weren't letting people use, just to check into their campsite, 12 hours. And so people were pissed about that. Understandably, that's crazy. That's crazy town. Just to park, man. And then we have the influencer drama. Now, I'm just going to bring one of the things to the table, James Charles. So you guys know James Charles, kind of known for drama and makeup and singing and dancing, kind of. So James Charles posted a bunch of Get Ready With Me's while he was talking about Coachella. And I'm going to bring something to the table, and then I'm going to take a step back real quick. So he posted a Get Ready With Me. This came up on my For You page, which I was embarrassed about. And he was saying that he bought a artist wristband, which there's a bunch of different kinds of wristbands you can get. He got an artist wristband, which is supposed to get you like a bike to the venues. And also you're supposed to go through a specific VIP entrance, which takes you away from the poors, the normies, the peasants. He had to walk everywhere, and he was kind of bent out of shape about that. Didn't want to be around the normies. And so people were calling him entitled, which, listen, influencers can be really entitled. I do think, though, I'll give him this. If you pay for VIP, if you pay for a specific something under the impression that you're going to get XYZ and then you don't, that sucks. That sucks. If you pay money for something and you don't get it, you have the right to be upset, I think. I don't know if he was going off of what had happened in prior years or if they had said you're going to get XYZ and he didn't. I do not know. But he was saying that, you know, he was in situations where people were drunk, fans were coming up to him, crossing his personal boundaries, and there was no place for him to get away from that, which listen, I'm not famous. I'm not. I want to make that blatantly clear. But I have friends that have been in situations where they've gone to events and people will start to pile up, you know, and it's uncomfortable. There's been a couple situations where I've gone somewhere with somebody who they all of a sudden you blink and there's just a bunch of people standing around, and most of them are nice. Most of them just want to say hey and take a picture. But any kind of grouping of people around you can be uncomfortable, especially for somebody that's not an extrovert. So, and you add drunk people in, people are rolling on 6 different things and you know, it gets scary. So I I don't know. That's uncomfortable. Kind of get that. Other Coachella drama. People were disappointed with how the fans were acting. So apparently people were just standing there and not dancing and filming. Alex Earl was complaining about that. She was saying that people were kind of like zombified, which when I look at all the videos, it's people holding their phones. I don't want to be a boomer, but I will say concerts are weird because it seems like everybody's just going to watch it later. I don't know. I've never gotten that. How many times have you ever seen a concert on somebody's phone on their story and been like, holy shit, stop what you're doing. Jennifer just uploaded a video of Olivia Rodrigo. She's all the way in the nosebleeds. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything, but I got to watch this. I don't know. Do what you want. Save the memories. I really think that people should be able to experience things the way that they want. But apparently people were getting upset with people that were dancing, people that were like dancing and not filming. People behind them were like, why do you stop it? Stop gyrating. Don't gyrate. Charli XCX also brought a little bit of drama to herself, I guess. So Green Day was one of the headliners. Green Day is a very well-known band. They are known for letting us know when September ends. Actually, no, we're supposed to let them know. So she was not the headliner. She was like number 2. And she was seen in a picture wearing a sash that said Miss should be headliner. And people were a little upset about that because they thought it was entitled. Charli XCX, you know, it's funny. I was one of the people that thought that she was an up and coming artist. I didn't realize she's actually made a bunch of songs that I know. Like, she's not a new artist. She's been around for a second. She's just had kind of a big pop off lately. Is she bigger than Green Day? It's a tough one because you have these artists that were gigantic and they have lasted the test of time, but are they as popular right now? No. So to be honest with you, I don't really know what the right answer for who should have been a headliner is, but I do think that the sash was a little weird, especially since Green Day went up and they were doing a bit of activism on stage. That was good, and I liked that. And the sash was a little weird, Charli. I will say it was a little weird, but I don't care, really, to be honest with you. Like, next year, come out with Brat Summer again. Brat 2, Return of the Brat. Brat 2, Tokyo Drift. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll get it. Whatever. So that was the Coachella drama that I heard about. I also heard about, Coachella District 12. Coachella is expensive. I did the math yesterday. The cheapest, you're going to spend $1,000 at Coachella at the very cheapest, probably. And that's not including plane tickets, stuff like that. So if you can go to Coachella for under $1,000, let me know. Let me know your secrets. But I personally don't think I'll ever go. There's a world where if I got a brand deal to go, I would want to just for the sake of knowing. I'm all about the plot. There are things that I'm not interested in, but you either go and you see them or you don't go and you don't like them from afar. I love to experience new things, even if they're things that I'm not really big on. So I would try maybe a day. I hate not sleeping in my own bed, but concerts, raves, festivals, they've never been my thing because it's a lot of energy. And then the concept of not being able to go home and sleep in my own bed afterwards sucks. If I'm unshowered, I'm overstimulated and I don't do drugs. I don't even really drink that much. So it's an experience that I'd like to do for one day and then go home. And I don't know if that's a possibility with Coachella. So also, speaking of big festivals, Fyre Festival 2, unsurprisingly, has been postponed. Now, I went to the website for Fyre Festival to look at it, and I don't know what is up with this website, but it bogs my computer down. Like, I was trying to type. When you load in, it loads. There's like this number on your screen counting up. Right now I'm sitting at 19. Now I'm at 28, 45, 55, 65, 85. And it's loaded. That's like to load a website on like good internet. I want to look at these passes because they're even more expensive than Coachella. If you want the cheapest pass, the Ignite General Access Pass, it's $1,400. If you don't know what Fyre Festival is, it's a festival that was advertised. I don't know what year it was. It was a couple years ago. And it was just a total disaster. Like, it just basically didn't happen. The guy who did it, he just scammed a bunch of people. And he even went to prison, I think, for a little bit. But he just got out, and he's like, all right, babies, I'm out. Round 2. Let's fuck it up. And he is fucking it up. So it's been postponed, I guess. Somebody who bought a ticket got an email saying it was postponed for like a month or something. I want to click on this first general access pass because I'm curious if it includes just the concert or it's a festival, actually. It's not even a concert. Jesus, this website moves so slow. Like, I'm trying to scroll down or up. Do I scroll up? Oh, you scroll up. Okay, sick. It's so slow. I didn't even know my Mac had a fan and it's going. Brother. So this includes access to festival grounds. Transportation will be provided from the hotel locations. It doesn't say include the hotels. It includes Fyre experiences, explore, embrace the unknown, and defy the impossible alongside some of the most fascinating people in the world. Then come together at night to celebrate. There is no other event like this. These options are a la carte and must be purchased as add-ons. So you actually don't get any of the experiences included. And then obviously you don't get your travel included. I don't think you get anything. I think $1,400 is just a ticket in. Dude, I would love to go to this just to see. Just to see. Like, I must know. It's probably not going to happen. If I had fuck you money, I would definitely buy a ticket just to see. I must know. I must know. I must go and know. But I don't have fuck you money, so I'm not going to do that. But goodness gracious, I am curious if this is ever going to happen. News that most of you don't give a shit about, but whatever. Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae tease a collab. Morgan Wallen is the guy we talked about last week who walked off of SNL and everybody was like kind of like, what the heck was that? They got done with the SNL episode and he just fucked off the camera. And then Tate McRae they teased a collab. Now, here's why this is interesting. Tate McRae is an artist that has popped up kind of recently, and she's an interesting artist to me. People are comparing her to Britney Spears. She dances and she sings. She has some good songs, I will say, and she dances quite well, but I think she is unfortunate. I just heard a phone ring. It's my neighbor's phone. It's a home phone. When the fuck was the last time you guys heard a home phone ring? Anyways, I think she's suffering from iPhone face. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it to you. People are saying that there's such thing as an iPhone face, which is basically like somebody looks like they exist in 2025. Whatever that means. Tate McRae looks very much like a normal person. Like she kind of just looks like a girl that like a lot of us would know for whatever that means. People don't like her, and I really can't figure out why. I think they've plucked her out of the group of upcoming female artists and decided that she is doing things but not really doing anything so interesting that people are confused. I think people are confused because nobody's like, I'm the biggest Tate McRae fan in the world. But she has a following. She has good songs. I don't know. I'm impartial. I don't care. Not my words. I'm just repeating what the internet says. So anyways, Morgan Wallen, he's faced a lot of controversies. He said a racial slur in a video. He threw a chair off of a roof and almost hit a bunch of people. And then the recent SNL thing happened. He's kind of one of those people that like, he hasn't said that he's MAGA, but like, if he did, people would be like, okay, and like, tell us something that didn't seem true. And so people are kind of weird about it, and I'm interested to see where that goes. And by interested, I don't care at all. Well, this brings me to the final segment, the Let Me Know segment. Let me know. So here's my Let Me Know segment. An Australian woman unknowingly gives birth to a stranger's baby after IVF clinical error. So this is in New Zealand. She's an Australian woman. She gave birth to a stranger's baby after she received another patient's embryo from her IVF treatment. The mix-up was discovered in February when the clinic in the city of Brisbane, I pronounced that correctly, found that the birth parents had one too many embryos in storage, and staff discovered an embryo from another patient had been mistakenly thawed and transferred to the birth mother. Australian news outlets reported the baby was born in 2024 and didn't confirm how old the child was, which we can kind of do the math here. The company, which is one of Australia's biggest IVF providers, said an initial investigation had not uncovered any other errors. Its statements didn't identify the patients involved or divulge details about the child's custody, which is crazy. Like, what do you do? Like, I would imagine that the person who carried the baby is going to continue to, like, that's their baby, you know, like they obviously wanted their flesh and blood, but that's their baby, you know, it's like, that is their baby. Like, it's the same as other adoptive parents who they don't think of their child as not their child. Like, that's their child. Now, it is sucky because IVF, I think, is pretty expensive for that baby to end up not being your baby when you paid a bunch of money for that. Hopefully they get a refund. If they don't get a refund, that's crazy town. But hopefully they do get a refund. And then also from the perspective of the other people who had their eggs stored, like, now you have somebody floating out there that's got your genes. So like, what, like, okay, great. Now what? Like, do we do split Christmas? I don't know. So that is, I probably will never hear the outcome of that, but that is an interest. That is, I don't even know what you do. Oh, wait, but there's more. Monash IVF opened in 1971 and sees patients in dozens of locations throughout Australia. Last year, the firm settled a class action lawsuit from more than 700 patients, making no admission of liability. The clinic paid a settlement of 56 million Australian dollars, which is 35 million American dollars. Rare cases of embryo mix-ups have been reported before, including in the United States, Britain, Israel, and Europe. A woman in the U.S., in Georgia, filed a lawsuit against a fertility clinic after she gave birth to a stranger's baby. I mean, like, I guess there's not, but it would really, in my head, I would think that, like, there'd be some sort of DNA testing, like, on the embryo before it's turkey basted up there. But maybe that's not possible. I don't know. I guess, what do you do? Poke it with a teeny tiny needle? I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works. Maybe they QR code the egg, like a little teeny tiny QR code, and then you just scan it. That's possible, right? We can make that happen. TM, send me the check. That sucks. That is a very, very convoluted situation to have happened to that poor family, and I hope the best. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching the episode. Me and my co-host really appreciate it. We have enjoyed sitting here with you and talking about the news. There will be no Patreon segment this week because I'm by myself and I don't know what the fuck to do. So, there is a huge backlog though of Patreon content. If you are somebody that is interested, we usually answer Q&A burning questions. We complain on the Patreon. To be honest with you, we talk about stuff in our lives that we are complaining about. And so yeah, if you're interested, please still consider subscribing. It's great. But this week it's just me, so I'm just doing the main episode. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Move, body, move, your body.